from the US of A, it's Vindicta.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side in the blue, representing Canada and Brave Star Gaming. It is the Queen of Blades herself. Her name is Scarlett. Grant, I'll be honest. I'm amazed that Scarlett's not 12 pooling right now.
Yeah, she's not going to do it. I genuinely... The problem is with these players, Scarlett especially, if she says she's going to go hyper macro, she will go hyper... She'll play an hour-long game. She plays on Korea a lot. It happens often. She'll play Swarm House. She'll sit back. She'll do nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Vindicta threatening to sit back and play mech. I don't think he'll do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do expect we'll see Bio from Vindicta, but who knows, man?
Yeah, it's a threat that's less likely to be carried out, I think, than Scarlett going for something like Swarm Host. But she is opening Hatch Gas Pool, which just leaves the door wide open for anything she might want to do. Oh, geez, Grant, I'm having a terrible time over here. I put some hand lotion on in between the takes.
Oh, no.
And now I'm trying to get the cap off of my my chapstick.
And you're just sliding around?
And I'm just sliding off. This is atrocious. My poor my lips are going to fall off. As you know, Grant, casting StarCraft takes a terrible toll on your body, not just your throat and voice and everything, but your lips especially. Mine gets so dry just from sucking in so much air over the course of the day. I got to apply this chapstick like, every couple days or every couple games.
I don't have the best chair, so even things like having a bad back is really bad. Like in the hour break we just had, I went and I literally just lied down. I generally, during a long event where we cast like 7-8 hours every day, of course there's a lot of prep time and things as well. It takes up the full day every day with no time off. I generally get a little sick just because I have an awful immune system.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult. I don't like to be like, oh, woe is me, as this Reaper coming in looking for a bit of damage here. Queen about to pop though, shouldn't be able to get much.
Yep.
And we have Reactor Hellions coming out behind us. I imagine Reactor going down into that factory. CC finishing up on the natural. Interested to see. I mean, we'll know in the next minute if it's going to be a very, very macro-heavy game. If Vindicta does go for that quick third base. Scarlett has her third down at a very healthy time. Before 3 minutes already, pretty decently far done. Doing a good job protecting her first creep team win things as well. And this game is standard as standard can be.
Yeah, great scouting patterns here from Scarlett, by the way. If you check those overlords, you can see she's got one into the natural and then one underneath in the south of the main base, and that's to look for drops. In case there was a 4 Hellion drop coming her way or like a Widowmine drop or something, that overlord down south of the main base just going to catch all of those. So really wise play there by an experienced and savvy player. Scarlett, absolutely phenomenal here. Ling speed on the way for her, and her third base just about to pop here at about the 330 mark, which means it's a pretty early third base there for Scarlett, who's playing a bit greedy. Grant, is it dangerous to play greedy against Vindicta, or do you think she's playing into his hands exactly as he taunted her with a long macro game?
Yeah, I think so far it's good, but Vindicta, this is where things get a little difficult. Vindicta now opting to start Cloak and Banshees. Scarlett has to be prepared. The good thing for her, she has the Overlords in position to go in for a late scout. This Marine is going to be able to tickle at the Overlord. How far away is that starport? It's very far. I'm not sure if the Marine would do enough DPS, but with a second one, it certainly would stop this Overlord from getting a scout. Scarlett's going to need to just throw down safety spores at about the standard time in a minute or so. These Hallion's doing a good job of just making sure creep can't go too far, catching a couple of active tumors here. All is good to get things started. 4 Hellions coming out now. We're looking to actually go up to 7, which is a very healthy amount here alongside Cloak Banshees. The name of the game to get things started for Vindicta is get a Banshee in the main or the third and throw your Hellions in at a different location. Did a good job of getting these creep tumors. Oh, that's cute. He's targeting his own Hellion to kill the creep tumor. Love it. Love it. Vindicta stopping that creep spread. Knowing that is where Scarlett excels. She is legendary for her creep spread. The Banshee actually having to defend here. That's a big tell. Scarlett can just start up her spores, no problem now.
Yeah, absolutely. That Banshee's getting caught by these Lings. A lot of Lings actually trading out for these Hellions. I'm just not sure if this is a great trade for Scarlett, throwing away a lot of Lings for just a couple of Hellions there. 3 of them do still get away in the Banshee. Of course, scouted, so a bit of a mixed bag for both players there. That gives Scarlett plenty of time to drop Spore Crawlers in the main, natural, and third, finish up her Baneling Nest, and even finish up Lair Tech. Now, Grant, we're seeing a Baneling Nest and a Lair Tech with no Roach Warren, with, it looks like 4 gases taken right now. What does that tell you about Scarlett's potential for build orders going forward?
Yeah, Scarlett's got a couple of options here. That's the second Baneling Nest.
What the hell?
She just made. Okay, she cancels it. There we go. That's the tech I was looking for.
That's what I thought.
So Scarlett had two options. That was to stay on Ling Bane and make a whole bunch of them and get a fourth base, or to go Spire here and use all of her gas in that regard. She has gone Spire. This is all very standard. We do see a second factory coming out here of Vindicta, despite the fact he's playing Bio. This is a quick second factory, actually. And Armory on the way. I think we're going to start seeing a whole load of Widow Mines get produced. And that's a good build order here for Vindicta. Against what he is playing, he is going to be able to get a lot of Widow Mines if he can catch those meters in an odd position or get some good Widow Mine hits on the Ling Bane. He can certainly snowball a fight with his Bio. You can see here everything there for Scarlett. Double Evo chambers coming out. Yep, there we go. There is drilling cores as well. We're going to be seeing tons and tons and tons of Widow Mines.
There's been a build we've seen in NA a couple times now, and even in the EU, actually, we've seen it twice, I believe, is this two-factory into bio play. So you get a couple of barracks down, add some factories on as well, and then, as you said, crank out mines, tons and tons of Marines, mines, and medevacs. It's going to be a really incredible build, especially considering that Scarlett's going Ling Bane Muta. There is almost nothing stronger than all of these Widow Mines against Ling Bane Muta. They're so frustrating to deal with. They're so hard to dodge. They require incredible map control. Going to get a cancel there on that base, and a creep tumor. Nicely done by Vindicta there. Anyway, going to be very difficult for Scarlett to defend. It requires an incredible map presence, and it's certainly a good strategy for Vindicta. Of course, if anybody can deal with it, Scarlett can. She's under a lot of pressure though, Grant, losing that one base twice, and this base might be under pressure as well.
No. Banelings are really good against Hellbats, my friend. Banelings going to blow in and get them taken out. The Lings will come just to wrap up and complete the last two. This base takes a bit of damage, but it is still a relatively well-timed fourth or even fifth base, as there is another base here. Scarlett double expanding. I'm a big fan of this. We do have the first couple of muters, or first muter even. Did she lose a few? No, okay, it's just one muter out on a mission. Where are the rest? Here they come. They're all coming together now down here. We do have the Widow Mines in the main. A nice pull from Scarlett. Going to stop this from getting too much. Oh, okay. The Overseer takes the damage in the end. Not bad at all. Scarlett with a nice defense here. We'll clean this up entirely. We have a big push coming here at the sort of 4 or 5 o'clock point. The buyer is starting to move out. Scarlett's creep spread is still pretty good, though. It's covering every avenue. And she's in a good position to deal with all of this Widow Mine harassment. And now a big counterattack coming in. There's really not that much here, actually. Okay, buyer coming in. There's a lot here on.
Yeah, that's always the danger when you're going for this, especially Marine Mine style. Even if you go for like a Marine Medevac style, the Medevacs don't come out that often, so you're not often having one. So if your Marines get surrounded when they're reinforcing from back home, they tend to die quite quickly. Of course, if you're going Marine Mine, there is always something pouring out of your production facilities as a Terran player, making run-bys a lot less intense and making it much easier to deal with, because there's always going to be some DPS just hanging around your main base by the very nature of the build. Ooh, Scarlett canceling a few of the Mutalisks there. That was interesting. Gonna rebuild them though. 2 more Mutalisks on the way. The total Mutal count up to 12 now, Grant. And again, it's gonna be tough for Scarlett to find the damage she needs to find with these Mutas. Thor's already on the way. Mines everywhere in Vindicta's bases. And Grant, he wasn't joking when he said he might turtle just a little bit here.
Yeah, Vindicta has played it pretty safe on 3 bases so far. The big problem here on Jaggernaut is he needs to secure a 4th base, and none of them are particularly close to his 3rd. It's very difficult for a Terran player to get that 4th base. Medevac going down here, nice pick up from Scarlett. We do see more and more Widow Mine drops coming out. So far, they haven't been able to stick. 1 worker has gone down. We've seen a few of these Widow Mine drops. Vindicta kind of needs to make something happen here, because Scarlett is up at nearly 90 drones. She's at the perfect sort of area of drones, and if she can keep this going, oh, that's a full medevac getting caught there. It's going to become very difficult here for our Terran player. We have another drop coming in though, and I mean, there's a Spore and a Spine. I don't see this finding too much.
Now, and of course, with this wide open back part of Juggernaut, that drop's going to get cleaned up really quickly. The Mutalisk's on top of it. Really well done there by Scarlett. Good map awareness. And we said this at the very beginning of the game. This is something that she is incredible at, right? Is finding a way to stay alive on the map. Look, she lost 10 drones there. Look at her drone count. She's still at 77 drones, man. She is fantastic. So even with 10 drones down, she's still at 80 drones, and the Mutalisk clock just getting scarier and scarier, Grant. Hive tech even on the way at about 10.5 minutes. That's a pretty reasonably timed Hive, and we are absolutely going to see Adrenal Glands coming down for those Zerglings. This is really good. She needs a couple more Banelings if she wants to push in, but I like Scarlett's position right now.
Yeah, Scarlett's right now, the emphasis on her game is going to be to slow down that fourth base. You know, finds it, sees that it is here. She's going to try and take this fight a little bit, and we don't mind with friendly fire. There is a possibility this isn't a bad fight. The Links don't get best connections there. The Scarlett has so much of the map. You can see she's already pushed halfway up, taken nearly every base, and Vindicta's just not been able to do a good job of containing this creep. It is surpassed the halfway point, and that is the most difficult point to do, because generally that's where your opponent will be doing his best to stop. Now, +3 weapons starting here for Vindicta, +3 armor not yet started. Could be a mistake there. Hasn't queued them up on the same building, just doesn't have the money. Vindicta finally going to try and do push back some of this creep. Scarlett's Mutaflop continues to be pretty big now at 31. 28 Banelings on the way, and Scarlett might be looking for a bit more aggression here with such a heavy Baneling count, moving up towards 50.
No question. She's also trying to spend her money. A little Ling run by at the third base, by the way, clearing out a few SCVs, and they're going to get cleaned up eventually. The SCV pulls, pretty good time there from Vindicta. Going to be able to move those back soon. So Scarlett doing a nice job there, keeping Vindicta on his toes. I like that Vindicta's trying to counter pressure as well, but Scarlett's done a nice job investing in static defense. Look, when you've got 1,500 minerals on the field and nothing else to build, you may as well go for a lot of spines and a lot of spores. And as Grant is pointing out here as our observer in this game, Greater Spire and 3-3 on the way now for Scarlett. Vindicta still forgetting to build that +3 bio armor. Huge mistake.
That could end up being a big problem here for Vindicta. Scarlett's upgrades were a little late, but not much at all. The high finish, it was only about 30 seconds before she started them. Greater Spire is going to be a problem. Now, Scarlett at 91 drones as well can afford to start trading not as cost efficiently.
Right. What
she wants to do at this point is stop Vindicta getting a 5th base. The 4th is pretty stable now. It is mining pretty well. She might go and harass that with the Mutalisks up at the north here, but there's a lot of missile turrets, there's Widow Mines. It's a planetary too. At this stage, it's going to be pretty unbreakable from the ground.
Wow.
And even, yeah, we can see the Mutas having a little look, not going to care anything. These Widow Mines. Oh, actually, a nice split there from Scarlett. The Widow Mines don't end up, the Banelings don't end up getting anything, but a very frustrating scenario for Vindicta, whose base is now in the air, not able to land. I'd be mined from for a while, and Scarlett's creep thread just keeps growing and growing. 4 Corruptors on the way. Ultralisk Cavern as well. She's getting Adrenal, she's getting free, she's getting to the stage of Zerg, which is very difficult to stop her.
Yeah, these Mutalisk flock is, as you said, terrifying here. 31 Mutalisks out. This is insanely good for Scarlett. The problem is these can all be washed away with 2 or 3 Widowmine shots that are just primo. Yeah. And Thor shots, of course, shred through Mutalisks. So while it is a rather large investment from Scarlett, it should pay off in the long run, we hope. She's going to get up in the main base here and just waste these missile turrets and get... Oh my god, there's nothing here. Vindicta very slow to respond here. And a Thor drop going up at the top side. But the Thor not engaging here. Vindicta paying too much attention to this Ling run by at the top left side. These Thors going to get surrounded by Lings and Banelings here, forced to medevac one of them up, medevac one of them out, but it looks like this, the medevacs, or pardon me, the Mutalisks, have done their job in the main base, and now in the third, cleaning up Widow Mines, and should be able to evacuate that third base. Even more damage getting done here. Scarlett throwing a lot away, but has a lot back home to deal with it as well, or to rebuild as well. Look at her bank.
As I said, Scarlett can be cost inefficient right now. She doesn't mind this at all. She's going to make more Corruptors for more Broodlords. And she's chomping away at anything that could deal with Broodlords or Ultralisks. She can go for both of those at any point now as both buildings are done. 2nd Spire as well for air upgrades. Scarlett has everything she needs, plus even a little bit more. She's going to be able to deal with all of these Liberators. She has lost a lot of drones. Maybe we'll remake just a few. Still sitting at 86 though. Losing a couple over at the right-hand side, I believe, for some Liberators. Kind of hard to observe at this point.
Sorry, I'm observing anyway, Grant. You're
fine.
About
to go down.
I love this, the command center able to pick some of those SCVs up. When was the last time you saw a command center pick up SCVs and get them to safety? Because orbital commands, of course, can't load SCVs in, and planetaries can't fly. So it's so weird for me to see a command center floating with something inside of it. I just, like, forget that that's a mechanic in the game because you see it so rarely. Finally, the death push from Vindicta, and his army supply looks pretty good, Grant. If you look at the army value, though, you'll see that Scarlett's army value is considerably higher. She's got those Broodlords out in the middle of the map, only 5 of them, but with enough Mutalisks, she's going to be terrifying to deal with. It's going to be so difficult to push into these Broodlords, especially with Mutalisks flying around, causing some trouble. The Broodling should be able to drive these Thors back, cause some friendly fire from the Widow Mines, make the Widow Mines shoot off, and Scarlett in great positions here. Sees where Vindicta's army is, and should be able to push it away.
Yeah, a lot of her Mutalisks just walking into Widow Mine damage there. She took a big chunk of damage, and her supply dropping just a little. Needs to wait for them to regen before she can commit to any larger fights here. The Broodlords are going to be a big problem. There's also 5 Ultras on the way, fully upgraded, even with chitinous plating finishing up now. These Widow Mines, though, these Widow Mines could get these Broodlords. Okay, playing with fire there in terms of time. We have a lot of drops coming from from Vindicta at the east side, at the west side of the map. A run bite at the east side as well with a bunch of bio and a 4 that is going to be not dealt with here. Scarlett needing to move her units to deal with the multi-prong pressure. Broodlord's cleaning up pretty easily over at the left side. Her main's been cleaned up, and it looks like the Mutas will be able to clean up as well over here in the southeast.
Gonna eat a little pepper there from the Thor, and the Thor's gonna keep this push alive, but of course the Mutalisks should be able to get on top of that Thor. It's already almost dead. A couple Lings would be preferable, but if she really wants to clear it, she can do so. Just doesn't want to engage with these Marines unless she absolutely has to, so you can see her being so cautious there. Her Mutalisks flock down to 6, but I think she's okay with that. As the Banelings roll in to drive the rest of this away, that's still a nice pick from Vindicta. He's gonna try and engage on the north side again, but the Broodlords are still here, and these Medivacs just not gonna have any hope of getting anything down.
Yeah, now gonna pick up and go into the main node behind this mineral line. I like that. Broodlord will be able to rotate over. The Mutas actually being forced to do so. The Mutalisk count is really low. Scarlett has just been forced. She started them and cancelled them again, actually. She was making 9, cancelled it, and now makes 7 Corruptors. Lava, not going to be a problem. Scarlett too good to not have her inject. Pretty constant here. Drop in the main, though. He's going to be able to take down this Queen. Going to get a couple of these gas mining drones. And now move down into the natural, which is a little bit more healthy in terms of miners. This Ultralisk, though, going to chomp away eventually. Nom, 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 nom. Kills them all. And we have a big run by up at the top left. These Broodlords and Ultralisk going to commit to try to take down this base.
The only thing that shoots up right now for Scarlett are these Mutalisks, so if she loses them, these Vikings can go ham on the Broodlords, and the Broodlords might all lose their lives. There are no Corruptors available right now for Scarlett. Up at this top left corner, she needs to get the Corruptors into this fight because the Mutalisks alone are not going to be enough. The Overseer's eating a bit of damage from these Marines. Finally, we see the Corruptors here, but they've got to go after those Vikings. The Broodlord count, Grant, dropped down to 1. Those Vikings absolutely doing their job here. That's a great trade for Vindicta, but Scarlett, as we said earlier, way ahead in army supply, way ahead in macro. Her bank is depleted a little bit here, but she's adding on 5 more Ultras, and she's going from Broodlord into Ultralisk into win?
Whatever she wants.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the creep spread it's unbelievable. You rarely see creep spread this good. And I don't like to say the same thing over and over, but 3/4 of the way of the map completely covered with multi-prong creep spread is just unreal. So good at spreading that creep. Vindicta now moving out. He still has a pretty good army, 100 army supply. He has a 4 with it. His upgrades, of course, 3/3 is done, plus 2 vehicle plating also done. Scarlett, though, going to take the fight with these Ultras. Ultras not bad if they can fight on creep here, but we do see nice micro here, some nice step coming from Vindicta, able to trade up pretty efficiently. Ling's going to come in. They are really what you need here to stop that micro potential. Corruptor's going to come and kill a lot of these Medivacs. And that's going to make this easy pickings here for the Ultralisk.
Dangerous position for Vindicta right now with high DPS Ultras on the ground and high DPS Corruptors in the air. Just 2 really, really strong units in a row, and when combined with that position they've got, these Corruptors able to pick down every single last Medivac. In fact, the Medivac count now down to 0 for Vindicta. He's got no Medivacs left in the air. Scarlett traded a lot of Ultras for this, but the Corruptors are going to be able to get both of these orbital commands. Eventually, of course, they're going to lift up and get pushed out, but the Corruptors can do either their caustic sprays or their normal attacks to make these burn down. Finally, the Ultralisks will be cleaned up, but unfortunately, the Ultralisks have cleared out the Marines quite a bit, which means the Marine count much lower than Vindicta would like, only at 14, whereas Marauder count is good for Ultralisks, but bad for Corruptors, Grant.
Yeah, Scarlett now getting +3 air weapons. She's moving into Infesta Ultra, a true proper late game composition. The problem we're going to have right now is that Vindicta has no bases. He's been forced to even lift up his natural and his main and fly them over. This is still a planetary in this position, but an orbital over here at the northwest means that it isn't very safe whatsoever. There's 1 missile turret to defend in the air, and really what is left on the ground for Vindicta. Not a huge amount. His army isn't bad, but it's beat up beyond all recognition right now. Almost every unit yellow or red. And as soon as Scarlett remaxes, which she's getting closer and closer to doing with these Infestors as well, I'm a little bit concerned here. For Vindicta, Scarlett is in a very strong position, still with a decent drone count, and every base she could ever want. I mean, she's taking more and more as we speak. Still not mined out fully in a few of these bases. Multiple bases still have a lot of supply. Scarlett now moving forward off creep.
Yeah, Ultralisk is a little bit too far forward, I think, and especially with the missile turrets here to drive the Corruptors away, she really can't get that 1-2 punch that she wants with the Corruptors, and the Ultras finding a nice position. The good news is those Banelings are on creep, those Banelings have centrifugal hooks, and those Banelings were going through the zippy zone in the middle of Juggernaut. Those are the fastest Banelings I've ever seen in my life. A clutch fungal growth slowing all this down, and that allows the Banelings to get great trades here, and Vindicta knows it in one fell swoop. Scarlett closes out the game and earns that GG, Grant.
Yeah, incredible. Just amazing play. It's hard to find fault. Of course, there was some damage. She lost a lot of drones throughout the game, but she was always ahead. And because of that, was able to make her mark on the game and take that first map. Juggernaut, though, considered pretty much, oh my gosh, a Zerg map. Although it's kind of twisting. Now we move on to Pillars of Gold, and guess what? Kind of considered another Zerg map. It is actually Scarlett's pick.
They're all Zerg maps, Grant. They always have been.
Yeah, man.
That's if you ask the internet, they're like, every map's a Zerg map. Look, it has a space that's wider than 2 tiles. It's a Zerg map. Unbelievable. Of course, all these maps almost immaculately balanced right now, and there's no reason for us to try and ascribe Zerginess, Terraniness, or Protossiness to any of them. That would be a huge mistake for any of us who are not on the balance team or have literally millions of replays to parse through like the Blizzard team does. Ridiculous. Pillars of Gold, a great map for all races. Vindicta and Scarlett. Scarlett going to go up for game number 2 here. Now, Grant, Vindicta did not rotate very well last game. I think it's fair to say. Scarlett had the Broodlords and he was like, great, I'll get some Vikings out. I'll get some Marines out. Those do great. And then immediately, bam, Ultralisks in his face. No Marauders out until the very end of the game. This game, I expect to see Vindicta rotating a little bit better if he wants to win. Let's hop on into Pillars of Gold LE for game number 2. And spawning. In the game. Oh, no. Just kidding. Hang on. We're going back to our cameras. We got a little pause, please, from Vindicta. Can we rehost? It's got the game heart bug with the overlay. Yep. All right. So we're going to have to make a new game. Unfortunately, the game heart overlay bug happened to Vindicta. About a 1 in 10 chance of that happening, I think.
It's going to happen twice. Well, it happens once, it happens twice. So we'll get into it as soon as we possibly can here. For our second map is going to be Pillars of Gold. This is Scarlett's map choice, as Vindicta did pick Juggernaut as map 1. We'll be getting into it very shortly. And Vindicta, this game, I think he needs to slow Scarlett down a little bit. Not just in terms of her drone count, but also creep spread. I said it a lot. And I'll say it a lot more. I'm not going to stop saying it. Allowing Scarlett to have control of the map like that is just a surefire way to get your ass kicked, basically. Because if she can constantly attack in 10 different places, she's going to be in a great spot.
Hang on. All right. Anyway. So, yeah, I think, what do you think, Grant, if Vindicta goes for a more aggressive build this time, like a strong +1 timing, do you think he can catch Scarlett by surprise, maybe? I feel like if this goes to the late game, Scarlett is just such a stronger player.
Yeah, I think maybe, like an 8 racks, 2-2 all-in, something like that, with, off of just 2 bases. That could be very strong here on Pillars of Gold. It's typically been a map that's not been terrible for that. Any map with ramps and sort of areas where you can hide tanks is strong, but it's not going to be easy no matter what happens here. As we now load in, it looks like things may be okay this time. And let's get things started, Graham.
Thank goodness. Spawning in that top right-hand side in the red. So they've swapped positions this game. Ooh, a little trick there by Vindicta to get the top spot. In the red, it is Team Alpha X's American player, Vindicta.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side of Pillars of Gold, representing Brave Star Gaming. She is the Blue Zerg player from Canada. It's Scarlett.
Scarlett not 12 pulling up, Grant. How disappointed are you?
Not at all. She doesn't need to. One thing I'll say about Pillars of Gold is there isn't quite as many bases. And the bases that there are spread out over a much wider canvas. Juggernaut is very tall and narrow, like a spire. And Pillars of Gold very wide and short, like Grant.
Nice.
Thank you. So it can be quite nice for Zerg. There's a lot of run-by opportunities here, and Mutalisks can be great as well. They can bounce between the 3rd, the natural, the main, and the 4th, depending on where you take your 3rd with ease. It's also not a bad map for timing, because you can get across it quite quick. Scarlett not remiss at doing a Roach Ravager push or something along those lines. But Vindicta, I think he can't allow Scarlett to get her creep up to the middle part of the map, to get up to 80 plus drones, and get to hive tech without doing a little more damage.
Yeah, definitely. Scarlett, I wouldn't be surprised to see her rush up to more tech quite quickly. Last game, she took her time, really, to get up to that lair tech. We saw her going for Spire, I guess, at a pretty reasonable time, but then after that, she sort of slowed down a bit and took her time getting to Ultras. The hive tech came in at a nice, 10.5 minutes or so, but then it was a while before she started going for additional tech. Sorry, it's been a long day of casting. There we go. Pool finishes up, and the queens are out, and that SCV is going to check for the third base and won't find it.
Yeah, very nice here, Scarlett. Going for the standard time third after her queens here. She'll get it up in it. You can see the drone already heading over. Factory on the way here for our Terran player after his command center. Everything to start things off very normal. Scarlett's going to want to chase this SCV away. Pesky little guy. She can now actually take the base, but doesn't have the money. Reaper is going to come over. This is going to be annoying now for Scarlett. She needs to jump in that gas geyser, doesn't get the opportunity. Vindicta getting what he needs so far. Going to force the queen to start making her way over in order to push this all back. Could even possibly see Vindicta sticking around for a while longer with this SCV. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going very greedy on the other side of the map.
Very greedy. That third CC coming down. You know, Grant, I read an article a while ago, and I'm sure I've told you about it, but just in case people haven't heard about it, this third CC going down early is in fact an early CC this time. There's a really interesting difference between builds for Terran players when there's a third CC, whether it happens actually early where you give up other things to get the third CC, or whether with the build you're doing the third CC just kind of fits into where it belongs. So this build, certainly with that third CC down before even the starport goes down, a very, very early third CC.
Yeah, definitely. This is very economically aggressive here by Vindicta. He wants to try and pull ahead. He's going to let Scarlett have free reign of her side of the map, but the trade-off is going to be that he's going to have free reign of his and get a very quick third command center. And if he can get that going undeterred, he's going to be in a position where he can match her in the macro department, and hopefully even pull forward and take the game more into his hands.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we talked about in between games, right? He's got to do something to sort of take control from Scarlett right now. If he sits back and lets Scarlett do whatever she wants to do, she is going to absolutely destroy him, right? All sorts of creep tumors all over the place. And once she has that complete map vision, she's just almost unbeatable. Her micro is too good. Her map awareness is too good. She's a GSL level player, guys. And even though Vindicta is phenomenal, Scarlett, when you let her do what she wants to do, is just on another level.
Yeah, Scarlett's actually going for a roach war in this game, and I like to see it. We may see a big bunch of roaches coming out relatively soon. It could be for defense. We do have banshees coming in as well, which makes it difficult to execute a very aggressive roach push here. There is no cloak, meaning that these banshees are unlikely to get huge amounts of damage here. Queens can deal with them relatively easy. Just a few roaches in the production tab, 6 so far. Lair on the way. We may see roach speed. Scarlett currently sitting at the top end of her production. If she wants to explode, needs to make a few more overlords. Only 3 in production right now. We'll keep an eye on that. For now, double Evo Chambers. I do think she's looking to just take a 4th place base and continue macro while staying safe.
Yeah, 4th gas getting taken there for Scarlett. Great call, Grant. And we do have the Evo Chamber finishing up just in time. Double Evo, which is actually a little interesting, Grant. Normally you don't see double Evo unless you're going to go for Carapace and then +1 melee, which might be plausible for Scarlett here. If she's going for a Carapace into missile attack, that might be a bit unorthodox. I don't think we see that too often. No roaches out on the map, or 6 roaches out on the map, but no additional roaches coming out. And it does look like these roaches are just going to be a bit of a stopgap maneuver in between what looks to be more like, well, never mind. There's the +1 missile attack, and I'm totally wrong. This is so strange, Grant. Very rare to see +1 missile attacks in a Carapace, and when you have 2 Evo Chambers, it's very rare to see missile attacks mixed in.
Yeah, I think he's going to head up going towards most likely Hydralisks and into Ravager play, into Leica play even, excuse me. Roach speed is on the way. For now, she is just going to sit on roaches. Roach muter is still a thing. We could see that fire go down. She is sitting on 6 gases. so I wouldn't be too surprised to see Spire. I think Scarlett right now is just trying to make sure she doesn't take any damage from these Hellions. Her creep spread though already pretty good here. And I don't expect the Hellions to get too much damage as the Lings and the Roaches swarm by to defend. Very nice drone pool here. No damage going to be taken. Scarlett in a good spot moving forward. Drone count at 66. Needs to get into the 80 mark. Once that happens, though, this game going to be a problem. There's a lot of Roaches in production, actually.
Grant, we talked about this. If you let Scarlett play her game, she's going to destroy you. And right now, the drone's lost count is at 1. One drone has gone down, Grant. And that's not acceptable from Vindicta. You've got to be able to get on top and do more pressure than that. Vindicta now sitting back. I mean, Scarlett, what's the fear right now? We can see Vindicta even building a freaking bunker at his third base because he knows that Scarlett's going to be so dangerous. These Hellions have yet to do anything. A couple of Roaches are doing well, and this is just going to push them out. Just going to push them out. There's no way that the Vindicta can let Scarlett get on top of this. Going to lose all the Hellions here, and now there's nothing at the third, but like some tanks on the high ground. I'm so worried. Yeah, this is getting scary. There are a few tanks on the high ground that can zone us off a little, and we have a big drop, a medium-sized drop heading towards the main here. Lots of Ravagers and Roaches on the way, though. Scarlett is powering up towards being maxed, and Ravagers, if she has vision, of course, can take down those tanks with that Bile ability. A few Roaches here are going to be able to hold off this attack in the main. The Queen will go down, sure, but this is really not too much of a problem. I will say Scarlett did pull back a lot of her units here, unnecessarily, but she's starting to break down these rocks, and this is going to be bad. There is a tank on the low ground, one on the high ground, another 2 making their way here, but they need to be here like 2 minutes ago. Yeah, and Corrosive Biles, of course, are massive. It doesn't matter how good your repairs are when all of that damage hits at exactly the same time. Oh no, Vindicta target firing his own refinery there for a moment, trying to unsiege the tanks. Bit of a mistake. Might show that Vindicta is very, very nervous right now, making a couple mistakes. Looks like the third base under serious duress right now. 122 army supply to 59. Normally, Grant, what I'd say is look at the army value, and oh no, Roaches aren't that efficient, but she's got twice the army value of Vindicta does. Not even, what, 2 tanks left?
Yeah. No, there's nothing left at this point, I'm afraid. Scarlett is just steamrolling her way forward. She's killed 20 SCVs, so even if she is somehow held here, and I really don't foresee it, she is going to be able to just steamroll forward. She's playing against what is effectively a 2-base, nearly 1-base Terran player, as Vindicta is mined out of his main. She's going to be able to shut down upgrades here. The E-base in the front here, creating the wall. This is not good, and we see +2 has been denied. Scarlett has now got Lings into the mineral line. This one tank, these 2 tanks on the high ground, the last bastion of defense here for Vindicta, but Scarlett is at double the supply. She already has her 2-2 started up. Maybe she's pushed back here, but I would be surprised, to be honest, if this isn't the game-winning move for Scarlett.
Yeah, even as you said, even if she doesn't win this completely outright here, even if she's still pushed away, if these tanks are able to find their position, she has lost high ground vision. Oh, she hasn't. Sorry, there's some server overseer here. She hasn't lost high ground vision, which means the tank should go down pretty quickly. And yeah, Vindicta knows it. It's just going to be close.